the Education and Culture Committee, and Councilman Hoskin, would you offer prayer?
Lord, thank you for this opportunity to come together again today to do the business of the people of the Cherokee Nation. As we do so, help us remember the least among us and help us bring peace to this troubled world. Amen.
Next, we have roll call.
Julia Coates.
Here.
Ron Garvin.
Aye.
Bill Anglin.
Here.
Bill John Baker. Jack Baker.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Bradley Cobb. Joe Crittenden.
Here.
Jody Fishinghawk. Here. Meredith Fraley.
Here.
Janelle Fulbright. Chuck Hoskin Jr.
Here.
China Glory Jordan.
Present.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
Chris Soap.
Here.
David Thornton.
Present.
Kara Cowan Watts. We do have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Next, we have approval of the January 11th minutes.
Move to be approved. Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And we will move to reports, and Diane Kelly, Career Services, is up first.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the council, I think you have my report. If you have any questions, I'm here to try to answer any questions you may have regarding vocational training issues, employment issues. That's in a different committee. But I'll answer those if you ask.
I was just going to say I really enjoyed going through your report. So, like the graphs and all, whoever's taking the time to do that or whatnot has done a really fine job of putting it all together. So, very
Thank you.
educational. Very
Thank
easy
you.
to see real quick where we stand as a nation on certain issues. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. That report will be a little bit more lengthy the next time. There's like 5 other issues that we're going to put in there. And that was a suggestion that the chief had at one time for us to do more graphs, because he said you guys get so much information all the time, and that a lot of times if you can see a pie chart or a graph, it gives you a better understanding of what's going on that you can look at without having to read through pages and pages of information. So you'll see a lot more of that from my department. Any other questions?
Councilor Jordan?
Yes, Diane, where are we on the summer youth program? Is this about the time we start gearing up for
Yes, ma'am, it is.
that?
Glad you asked. The summer youth program, we'll start taking applications the first part of March. We are working on our posters, flyers. Stephanie Isaacs has been working on those with our branding and public relations office. We'll be getting information out probably within the next week or so. It should hit the newspapers the first part of March. And as I reported in last month's meeting, was that we're going to taper down the number of hours that we're approving. Like, for instance, if you were on summer youth, you may have been approved for a full 8 weeks. We're going to look at the situations, their needs, and we're going to start looking at taking the older students, and if they're married or if they're in college, they can work a few more hours, but we're going to look at doing 20-hour weeks, because when we started going back and doing some research, a lot of our kids are not putting in the full 8-hour weeks, and they're taking up an 8-hour-a-week slot, and we could serve more kids if we were putting them on at a smaller length of time, because they're in band camps, football camps, and all kinds of things going on in the summer. But there are some students that, because they're married, may need to work more hours, so we're going to approve those for a few more hours. But you'll see a less amount of time, but we're going to try to serve more kids because we don't have as much money as we had last year.
What do we have in terms of money for this year?
We've got about 79,000 of the 100,000 that was left over for the summer youth program, which was tribal. And then we've got our economic stimulus, which goes up to 24 years of age. And we've also got the 102,477, which we haven't received that money. We normally don't get that money until about the end of April, the first part of May, so we don't really know how much that will be until it gets here.
What's the total?
We don't know.
Do we know stimulus-wise what we're going to have?
Stimulus,
yet?
we've got about 200,000 or so.
Okay, what did we have last year?
Tina, I'm not really sure. I can do some comparisons for you though for the next meeting.
If you would,
Can do
because
that.
that's a very popular program. We certainly want to see if there's funding issues, that we try to see what we can do about getting that properly funded.
We, with the 102477, you know, it's based on income and it's also based on needs. And then the economic stimulus is also based on income and it's based on needs. The only pot of money that we have that's over income is the tribal dollars. And right now, we're looking at utilizing some of those for our internship program that George Roach works with. So we have a certain percentage for the SYP that I think that we're allowed to go over that. I think it's 10%. So we'll put like 1 or 2 over income slots per area. They're working, Deborah and Jeff are working on that slot allocation, and we should have all that information for the next meeting, because we should have an idea of how much we're going to get from 102477 probably within the next month or so.
Would you care at the next meeting to possibly give us even just a separate report regarding
Sure.
the summer
Sure.
youth program?
Sure, no problem. Now, the summer youth would be actually reported at E&F because it's employment, unless you want it reported here.
Whatever committee is proper, just if you would
E&F
report-
comes up at the end of the month, and if we have the information, I'll report it there.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Council Thornton.
Our funding on our day work program, right now, do you have any idea where we're at and how long it will last?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear
On
you.
the day work program funding, where are we and how long will the program last right now?
Well, we're doing pretty good right now. The numbers have dwindled some, and we attribute that to the fact that a lot of people are getting their income tax, and that's why probably we're not seeing as many people. But it's kind of picking back up. Right now, the outlining areas, Mays County, Sequoia County was coming in behind Cherokee County with the number of slots, and now Mays County's picked up. It's just kind of moving around. Delaware County was behind Tahlequah for a while, then it was Sallisaw, now it's Mays County. So I don't know what's going on.
How about the funding?
Funding's okay right now.
It's okay? Will
Yeah.
that be okay for how long?
What we're doing is we have budgeted up through, we budgeted up through the middle of summer. And we're thinking that we'll be able to do that, but, you know, you never know. It's really hard to say, David, because, Councilman Thornton, excuse me, because we don't know from one day to the next how many people are gonna show up. This morning, Jeff reported that we had 34 people that were sitting down there and we didn't have job sites for them. And we ran out of job sites. What happens if you've got a project that's going on, say, out at the Heritage Center, they may need 40 workers for this project. When that project's over with, they don't need but maybe 20 workers. Or Hastings says, we've got accreditation going on this week, we don't need as many workers. So when they tell us they don't need as many workers, and then we have an overflux of people that come in, then we got to find other spots for them to go to. And we've got Kelly Forrest that started the life skills classes over in Muskogee County this morning. So she's got those going on for the next 3 days over there.
I know that they started working down in South Salt Creek Park this last week or so. And I went down there this weekend, and they've really made a difference down there. And they're really after it, and they're doing a good job down there.
Well, I heard a good compliment a while ago from somebody at Hastings. They said that they could see where the day work had really made some improvements with painting up at the hospital, and Heritage Center bought pizza for the workers out there last Friday, and they said they were very appreciative of the work that was going on out there. And I know that the different projects that we've worked on, they've been very pleased with the work that's been done. So we're pleased to hear all that good stuff.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Next, we have the director's report. Dr. Morton?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. You have the reports from the various departments within the Education Services. If there are questions, I'll be happy to try to address them. And I have 2 or 3 items that pertain to the Higher Ed Scholarship Program and the valedictorian, salutatorian award, and also the distribution of parte funds.
Counselor Fishing.
Every one of them. Go ahead and address it. That was all I got wrote down.
So you're ready for that then. First of all, some inquiries have come in concerning, are we going to award the valedictorian and salutatorian awards this year? My recommendation, of course, to administration is that yes. In Cherokee Nation, once you do things twice, it's entitlement, and we've done this 3 times. So I think that it's very worthwhile endeavor if we have the money, and that's what I'll talk to you about just briefly. It's hard to tell on the valedictorian salutatorian award, as you can tell from this sheet. We never really know how many there will be Cherokee citizens who will be either valedictorian or salutatorian. Last year it cost $81,750. Now that's the highest year of the 3 years. It started out at $62,500, dropped to $43,750, and then went up to $81,750. But it is a way to acknowledge to the public that we appreciate what the students do. And when the other awards are presented during award day, it's nice to have that Cherokee Nation award there to recognize academic success. So that will be, that is finally approved, that will be awarded in the mid-April will be the announcement for that. And and you will receive copies of all of them, not just those in your district, so that you can be present at award day, if your schedule permits.
Counselor Cobb?
This Gloria Slides group is still under your report, is it not? It's the Cultural Center, it's Gloria Slides group? Is
Yes.
Yeah. Making sure, because it was inserted in there.
Right.
I just have a question on number 11 down in there. Elected chief grade markers have been received. I've been we started talking about that when I first came on the council. I see 11 of them have been received. Do you have any idea when those are going to be? The grade markers for the elected chiefs. I know there's Mr. Keeler's. I've been waiting on that.
I really don't, but I will find out and
Yeah,
get
I
those
appreciate
dates
that.
for you.
Okay, thank you.
You'll make a note of that for me. Okay, on the next item.
I think we have some more questions
more
here.
questions.
Actually, I wanted to ask, first of all, on these, on the valedictorian, salutatorian scholarships, do we ever check to see if they have already received some, or are going to be receiving additional scholarship funding already from the Cherokee beyond this award? Or?
Well, our policy in the past has been that this is an outright award to the student, and they're still eligible for scholarship application.
Okay, so they could potentially
Yeah.
be getting 2
Yes. See, the
sources of funding from the Cherokee Nation.
could receive 2 sources, $1,000 for valedictorian award and $750 for the salutatorian award.
Councilor Thornton?
I just kind of wanted to make a statement here. This is another thing that tag tax money could go to if we would earmark it to schools. Most of these high schools receive quite a bit of funding out of that. They'll get anywhere from $30,000 to $60,000 a year, and this would be a good thing to put in there to earmark this money for, and then it wouldn't have to be looked for every year. If anybody has any ideas on it. Thank you.
Councilor Fulbright?
Yes, I have a comment. I want to tell Dr. Morton how it saddened me to see that he was transitioning out to be senior advisor, but no reflection on Melanie taking his place, but he's done such a wonderful job and come out to the schools, visited with the counselors, got our scholarship numbers up, and anytime we need an answer to any question, he's just so helpful and such a gentleman, and we're really going to miss you in that position. And back to this award here at Valedictorian Salutatorian, my brother is high school principal at Roland, and he said that this award is appreciated more than any of the others because it's cash up front, and they all go get them a payment on a laptop computer. They're just got some money in their pocket, and it's a real incentive for them to go right on. And he said they've really had some great Cherokee Valedictorian Salutatorians come out of Roland, and they really appreciate this money. So I don't look at it as double dipping that they can get their $2,000 scholarship plus this. I think it's a real incentive to give them a boost to send
A
them on.
real award.
Yes.
Yeah, and reward for.
But I just want you to
work
know how
with them.
much we're going to miss you in the position that you've held.
But you'll still be seeing, I'm sure. Melanie will have me.
Well, I know Melanie will do an outstanding job, but I've really
Yeah.
enjoyed working with you. You've done a great job.
Well, I had intended for that to be the very, very last thing of telling you goodbye. So, but since you've brought it up, I'll just say it now and be done with it. You know, I've worked with boards of education. I've worked with boards of regents. I've never worked with a board from whom I never received a discouraging word. And I really appreciate the professional manner in which you have treated me. And I just really do. It is a rare occasion that when you report on projects to this many people that you don't get in a fight once in a while. But, I have really, really enjoyed. And for each one of you, I respect each of you. I respect the representation that you show. Sometimes it gets a little bit intense, but it should, because you represent the people. Car tags, the first 3 pages list the dollar amounts.
I think we still had other
Oh.
questions, I'm sorry.
See, I'm trying to rush through this.
Yeah. Counselor Garvin was next, I believe.
I just want to express my appreciation for the Valedictorian and Salutatorian awards. I concur with what some of the others said, that one of our most outstanding reward, and the kids really light up when there's no strings attached, and it's honor them. It didn't come easy. It takes a lot of work, and they do their math, science, English, the whole works, and they got to compete with the non-Indians, and this shows that the Cherokees are doing better than the non-Indians in this particular case.
Right.
So it's really outstanding, and the couple is going to try to win it this year, and I hope to do. I hope you find the money. Thank you.
Very good.
Counselor Stoll?
Yeah, Chair, we can proceed. I just wanted to make sure that I've got notation for a question that's really not in alignment with what we're getting ready to talk about, but if I could get time after this to address
Okay.
Dr. Morton, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, very good. All right.
On page 3, and the pages aren't numbered, but on page 3, there is a breakdown by year of the number of students, the amount of money, the per student amount. You'll notice over the years since fiscal 2002, that's in blue, printed in blue at the bottom of page, it's on page 4, right? 3. It's on page 3. On page 3, printed in blue. Notice that 19 million, more than $19 million have been expended for this program in that period of time. Now this year, the number of students went up, the amount of dollars went down. But if you'll notice in the individual schools, that cut is not significant, really. They're still getting a significant amount of funds, especially if their enrollment went up. So I think this provides a very, very important history of what has been accomplished in higher education. I hope next year that we will have a better handle on where the students go, what kind of jobs they got, which will be a part of what I will be doing some of next year. Now, having told you all of that good news, having 2 or 3 statements to make that is not that good. The increase in applications this year, of course, we think that's attributed to the economic condition. Hard for people to find jobs. Colleges always increase enrollments during times of economic downturn. We had an increase in application of 976 students from spring '09 to fall '09, from 1,800 to 2,776. Now, we also have 174 new applications for spring. We have processed through last Friday 1,968 students, with approximately 808 students left to process. If the spring 10 funding includes all applications, including the late ones, we will expend 55% of our fiscal year budget with this semester. And 45% of the budget will not cover fall at the present rate. Now, if enrollment increases next fall, then that will increase the deficit. The deficit will be about $1.75 million next fall. Because remember, we fund spring and fall out of fiscal 10 monies. So that is something that will have to be reckoned with prior to fall. So that I'm very happy to turn that over to Melanie. But we have succeeded, put it another way, we've exceeded beyond measure, but we've exceeded beyond our pocketbook too. But I think it is absolutely wonderful that we can put that many students in college. We'll have around 3,000 students. I remember year before last we had 1,800. And I can almost guarantee you that the dropout rate is going to be significantly lower.
Madam Chair?
There are others, unless, okay, I'll go ahead and.
Yeah, I'm just curious, you said that the dropout rate will be significantly lower. Why do you think that'll be significantly lower?
Because the students that are entering college during this economic downturn are entering for a specific purpose, to get a job.
Okay.
Counselor Soap, did you want to go with your question
I was
now?
wondering, Dr. Moore, did you see the piece about education in the Tulsa World that ran here several, maybe a week or so ago?
The increase in
Well, it was
student
talking
enrollment.
about- it actually was talking about, it was comparing the various states to Oklahoma and what has happened to test scores and funding.
Mhm.
And it was a piece that ended up being about Arkansas.
Oh, yes, I read that.
Right.
comparing Arkansas's rate of expenditure per student and their
Right.
test scores and their teachers' salaries.
Right.
And they were attributing a portion of that at least to the consolidation
Right.
measure that Arkansas experienced a few years ago, where they actually eliminated all K-8 schools and dropped high schools that had less than 1,000 enrolled.
Right. And so there's some interest there for me because the numbers that they were attributing to the success of Arkansas and education in terms of test scores, maybe not overall, education, but test scores, was that they were hitting that 350 mark was the size of a school that needed to be where I think before you said it was around 120 or something like that. So that kind of got me a little concerned that if this is to become the template for a certain size or something that people would look to for potential success as a recipe, you might say.
And
I don't know, there's a lot of other things that go into that, but
yeah, there will be efforts in the Oklahoma legislature this year to pass a consolidation measure.
right. And so, do you think that would be the number that you previously reported? Is that pretty much what you've heard to be the case or the target, or
No.
is that still a loose number?
No, I agree with my numbers more than the reporter's numbers on Arkansas.
Okay.
Because the factor that the reporter did not include was a significant increase in funding for the state of Arkansas that Oklahoma has not experienced. Actually, it doesn't matter what state you're in. Higher grades follow higher funding,
Right.
no matter where it is.
Period.
And the argument that we can solve the money problem in Oklahoma by closing K-8 schools, you can prove that. But you can't prove it if you put in all the factors. If you put in the factors of transportation. On some of our schools, for instance, let's take the Bellefonte School, which includes a part of the old Reinhardt Ranch, on roads that you wouldn't put a backhoe, much less a school bus. And when you consider that you would have 3-year-olds riding for an hour and a half in the morning and an hour and a half in the evening to go to school, you can save a lot of money on about anything if you give up certain things. So school consolidation will not save that much money. And of course, unfortunately for us, most of the small schools in the state, most of the K-8 schools in the state are located in the Cherokee Nation. We have 29 of them. And it would be a tremendous blow to communities.
But did I hear you say that you thought that number would go higher than 350, or that you thought the number was
Come down.
okay? So
Yeah.
it's-
Right now, our schools that are doing a good job in meeting annual progress reports, schools somewhere around 200.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
A
you.
school of 200 under Oklahoma funding is in pretty good shape.
So you still stick by those numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Because you see, another thing that's not factored in is that we have some schools that are receiving significantly more money per student, even than the Arkansas schools, because of trust land. Arkansas does not have any trust land. So that's the reason that some of our smaller schools can make it on actually less state dollars than they could if they were in Arkansas, for instance.
Okay.
Councilor Fishing Hawkins.
I don't want to direct this to you, Neil, or maybe Melanie. On the Cherokee Nation Educational Corporation, could someone get me a list of, since they've come to creation, a list of scholarships they've handed out?
That they have awarded or that they have
Yeah,
awarded?
awarded, because we never get that reported, and I'd like to see it.
I'll see, I'll get that report for you.
And you look really nice today.
Pardon?
And you look really nice today.
Well, thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Counselor Fulbright.
Yes, I have a comment back for Chris and Dr. Morton. I've done a lot of studies on these small schools, and I thought it was very fascinating, this report that came out of Iowa that showed that they had some of the smallest schools, and they had spent less per pupil than some of other states, but they had the highest test scores. Had nothing to do with the size of the school as to what the test score was going to be. It had more to do with the socioeconomic background
Of the child.
of the child. And just the school being small did not make it have a low test score. They had some of the very highest. So you got to spread out and get deeper roots than just saying it's a small school, it's a bad performer. You got to look at all these other studies.
Yeah.
So
After-
I have never said that bigger is better.
Yeah.
That's all just a comment.
I have to remember too that of those 29 K-8 schools in Cherokee Nation, all 29 made adequate annual progress last year. Didn't have a school on the bad list, but had numerous schools in Tulsa County on the bad list.
Counselor Jordan.
On that report you're going to get us on the Education Corporation, the scholarships that's been given out, would you also ask them to give us the names of who received those scholarships?
I'll ask that. Understand I have nothing whatsoever to do with the Cherokee Nation Education Corporation.
Can you just pass that along?
In fact, but I'll find out the information.
Thank you.
In fact, it's a little bit confusing. They have scholarships, we have scholarships. They have a scholarship that they may have 100 persons apply for and 99 get turned down, and they call us, think we've turned down their scholarship. So it's very confusing. We have two operations under one house.
Okay.
Again, it's been nice knowing you.
Thank you. Okay, and Ms. Thompson is not here, so we'll move on to old business. There's none pending. And moving to new business, we have only one item, which is a resolution in support of naming a building at the University of North Carolina after Henry Owl, a citizen of the Eastern Band. And this was, there was a request that was made to me about 2 months ago from a faculty member at UNC to get a resolution from the Cherokee Nation. The Eastern Band of Cherokees and the Catawba Nation have also, both of which are federally recognized, have also given resolutions of support for this effort. And the request was made, and I'd like to, if possible, to move this to full council tonight, since...
I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, I was not even asking yet. Okay, very good. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any announcements? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.